Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a weekly track roundup, my thoughts on a bunch of tracks that have dropped over the past week or so, and they are linked down below so you can check them out for yourself, whether I loved them or hated them or felt somewhere in between. I'm also going to be talking about some tracks that dropped the week before this one because I was away on a trip to a festival. But yeah, that's basically the whole deal, the whole point. It's what we're going to do, you know. All right, let's start off with a shout out to what is also down there in the description box, our Turntable Lab link. We get kickback from it if you use it to, buy some records, some turntable stuff, whatever. Check them out. They're a good retailer. We also have our Patreon page. You can support us and get some extra bonus monthly content in the process. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. TND Streams page, YouTube Shorts page. Subscribe today. All right. First off, a shout out from Austin. It is this Gastr del Sol project. We have dozens of titles. Austin says, despite being a huge Jim O'Rourke fan, which is very provably true, that they didn't get super into this band, but this archival double album is really cool and most definitely something you have to hear if you are a post-rock enjoyer. So cool little post-rock recommendation there on that one. All right, let's kick things off with the worst tracks of the week. What do we have? What do we have? Of course, Snow Day, Drake, their little, Plain White Tees cover, Wagwan Delilah. Yeah, it's trash. It's absolute garbage. It's one of the worst songs you're going to hear this year. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's not entertaining. It's annoying. This never should have seen the light of day. It's embarrassing. All right, moving on from there. Pixies just cannot seem to drop a track that does not feel awkward and dated and stale at this point in the band's career. Unfortunately, that is also the case for this new single, You're So Impatient. MGK kind of goes subtle and introspective on this new track, BMXing. It's like he's doing almost like a bit of a backpack rapper thing, but he just kind of ends up sounding like a cut rate Chester Bennington or something, or like just a bad Linkin Park song without kick-ass rock backing on it. It's whatever. I'm not really feeling it. It's pretty in one ear and out the other, forgettable. We have a new one from Gracie Abrams as well, the second teaser to her forthcoming LP, where she keeps insisting on showing us her Lorde impression. We don't care. We don't want to hear it. Sound like someone else. We don't need someone else to sound like Lorde. All right, and we also have Ronnie Radke over here, who has come through with a new track through Falling in Reverse, featuring Jelly Roll, who I guess has decided there aren't enough douchebags in his audience. And what's the quickest way to do that? Appeal to Ronnie Radke fans, especially on a really shitty rock, rap, country anthem. This track's a total nightmare. All right, moving on from there. Bia, who is fresh off of a beef with Cardi B, has a new single out featuring Jid, where she even brags at one point about going bar for bar with J. Cole. This is a snoozer. This is bland. Instrumentally, flow-wise, delivery-wise, this is stale as hell. If this dropped in 2010, 2011, I could see maybe this kind of makes sense. I could sort of get what you're going for, but in 2024, This is so boring. And the JID feature, clearly the guy is working at a very low capacity on this one. I'll say that. Also, I want to mention here that obviously Eminem came out with a brand new track as well, Houdini, which we talked about over on the Fantano channel. To give it a bit of a rundown here, yes, it's essentially Eminem conceptually rehashing an older track, playing with some bars where he's attempting to be funny and offensive, hee hee ha ha, tongue in cheek, so on and so forth. Typical, Eminem cartoony vibe, but it still comes across kind of stale, kind of cringe, kind of falling flat on its face, at least for anybody who's not a hardcore obsessive stan who will basically swallow anything and everything that he does, especially something that will call back to an era where people actually cared about his music outside of his hardcore fan base. But yeah, Houdini, super underwhelming. Mid doesn't even cover it. All right, meh, the tracks that I was on the fence about, you might like them more than me. They are as follows. New one from Underscores. I'm usually a pretty big Underscores apologist, at least as of late. But this new one over here in terms of like the phone call, vocal effects, and other various elements of the track, a lot of this song just kind of feels like mixed weirdly, and it just kind of comes across as being a little off. I'll say that. I'll wait for something that's a bit more of a straightforward banger. My Guy is the title of this track. We also have a new one from Poppy, who is just continuing to go further into the alt metal realm, but I will say she is starting to sound, I don't know, a bit generic in her approach to this genre, and giving us something that's like almost on the level of a Disturbed or an Evanescence, but like not quite as punchy. It's fine, you know, it's standard, but it's not much more than standard in my opinion. Next, we have a new one from Normani, who has a great piece of production on this new Candy Paint track. Decent flow as well, if only the vocals and the performance were actually stand out. Despite the beat sounding so fun and the flow being kind of hooky, she just kind of sounds bored on her own song, which yeah, it's just quite unfortunate, honestly. Moving on from there, the Jesus Lizard, legendary noise rock outfit, the Jesus Lizard, the Jesus Lizard. They're back. Brand new album on the way, believe it or not. Rack is the title, and our first taste of it is pretty wild and riffy, maybe not as ferocious and nuts as a lot of the band's early stuff, but it's passable. It's cool. Hide and Seek is the title of the track. For sure something that the fans of the band's classic albums need to check out. All right, moving on from there, Young Gravy, White Claw, brand new track featuring Shania Twain. You know, it's not great, but it is very funny. The lyrics are very funny. And the fact that he literally got Shania goddamn Twain on this song is insane. I'll say that. All right, moving on from there. Fred Again has one with CHIKA and Anderson .Paak that is decent. We also have a new one from Parannoul from an upcoming collab record that features Fax Gang as well. I don't know if I'm so much crazy about this like bedroom rock, emo, shoegaze, glitch, noise pop fusion that's going on here, while I kind of see where it's coming from simultaneously. It's a little grating for me, and I didn't really get a whole lot of enjoyment out of it, honestly, even if I think there are, you know, strong and creative artistic intentions behind it. And also Alice Longyu Gao celebrating Pride Month with a song titled Lesbians Heart. However, don't you know, necessarily take that as all sunshine and rainbows, literally rainbows, because Alice is really coming for lesbians' throats on this track, and talking about how she's having a difficult time dating lesbians long term. But yeah. There you go. All right, best tracks of the week. We have quite a few of those, honestly. They are as follows. Starting off with a brand new one from Denzel Curry. The guy has a new record, a new mixtape on the way, and our first taste from it is this banger featuring TiaCorine as well as ASAP Ferg. It is a true dark, spacey southern rap bop and goes hard as hell. I'm liking it quite a bit. Also from here, we have a new one from Zach Bryan, who is continuing to dish out these acoustic ballads. This one actually features a guest vocalist, and it's got a cool, beautiful, chill, in spite of ourselves kind of vibe to the vocal dynamics on it that's actually quite moving and beautiful. We also have a new one from Ween, or, you know, recently released one from the vault, because apparently the band is coming through with a deluxe edition of their classic record, Chocolate and Cheese. And this first teaser from the extra tracks on the record is actually kind of amazing and unhinged and jazzy in a super theatrical and silly kind of way. It's classic Ween. That's really all you can say about it. But yeah, check that one out down below as well. All right, moving on from there. Frickin' Sugar Pit continues to drop weird, noisy, post-punky bangers loaded with smart commentary and lyrical observations. Data is the name of this new one. Love this one quite a bit too. We also have SBTRKT, who is coming through with an amazing bop with a two-step beat, great production, killer dance stuff, a lot of good dance tracks this week, and this is most certainly one of them. We also have, believe it or not, I'm enjoying the latest single from Sabrina friggin' Carpenter, even with me not really liking espresso all that much. This one over here is a creative pop ballad with some very cool and unlikely vocal harmonies that work despite them being layered and assembled in a kind of interesting way. And there's like some country undertones to some of the vocals and the guitars on the track. So, you know, coy, tongue-in-cheek, a little MFer drop as well. I kind of like the lyrical angles that the track is working to. I'm enjoying this. This is actually kind of refreshing. Respect to this one a lot. We have a new one from RAYE, who is having quite the run since her last album was a bit of a sleeper hit, and this new single, Genesis, is an expansive, ambitious, multi-phased epic that involves like a big jazz finish at the very end that I like quite a bit. It's tasteful. It is loaded with character, and yeah, it's just a passionate, creative, again, multi-phase song that really kind of takes you on a bit of an odyssey and adventure. We also are kind of dealing with another track that is cut from that cloth, multiple phases, lots of creativity, unlikely genre combinations on the new Porter Robinson single titled Russian Roulette. And yeah, you know, it's a lengthy, almost emo kind of inspired track that undergoes some, you know, more electronic inspired transitions on the back end. I've been seeing a lot of fans react to it negatively. And I get that it's not the sort of thing that you typically expect from Porter stylistically, but like for the genres of music he's dabbling in, I think he's really doing them quite a bit of justice and turning them into his own thing, most importantly. Moses Sumney totally killing it on this amazing low-key throwback R&B single with a subtle but sticky chorus. Hopefully we have a new album coming down the pipe that features more tracks like this, because, you know, usually Sumney's work inhabits a more kind of abstract and much more left field space, even though this is obviously, you know, he's not going for some top 40 hit here. But, you know, this track to my ears runs as a bit more accessible and catchy, and you know, it'll certainly be interesting to see if that direction gets pushed a little further on subsequent singles and deep cuts for sure. All right, moving on from there, Meridian Brothers are as zany and out there and wild as ever on this new one titled Mandala. It is just the endless, crazy Colombian guitars and zany, sour, just off-kilter guitar work. It is entrancing. It is weird. It is another dimension. It's psychedelic. Give it a shot. Give it a listen. This band's going to rock your world and bring you something different this week for sure. All right, a couple more. We have a new one from Magdalena Bay. And yes, it's loaded with just looping dance grooves and big, showy, shimmering pianos, some solid vocals as well, strong hook. Not quite as quirky or as synthy as some of the stuff they've dropped in the recent past. This seems maybe a bit more kind of like, you know, mature, high grade. Death and Romance is the name of the track. And yeah, it kind of sounds like the band is, or the duo rather, is trying something a bit slicker and seeing some very positive results in the process. All right, we also have one from L'Imperatrice. Yes, I'm terrible at pronouncing French names and words and bands, and I apologize. But this band, if you're unfamiliar with them, they dabble in a lot of like dance pop and new disco stuff. It's very 70s, very throwback, but you know, the instrumentation is high quality. It's well executed. You could tell, you know, the band is, you know, really loaded with some good players. People have like a really nice ear for music and music theory. And like I said, their latest record is out. It's been out for a minute, but they have decided to pile on this extra track over here that features none other than Maggie Rogers, and this very unlikely marriage on this track is actually quite good. actually really impressive. I'm liking it quite a bit. Maggie's vocals actually work in this context more than I thought they would. So, you know, really cool crossover from these two for sure. All right, a couple more. Jamie XX has a brand new danceable banger out with some great vocal chops and some driving house beats. Really liking, you know, kind of the hopeful and kind of very positive vibes coming off of the song as well. Treat Each Other Right is the name of the track. Floating Points has a new one out, Del Oro. This is a great dance cut, entrancing from front to back, just absolutely, completely gripping. Floating Points continues to be one of the best electronic music artists out there today, point blank, period. Also enjoying this new one from Doechii, who I think is like, with this latest single, also giving us a fusion of pop and hip hop and dance music. I think she's really starting to like find her groove, find her sound. For sure, up until this point, on multiple tracks, she has showcased a warehouse worth of talent. But I feel like she hasn't quite found that sound yet that will convince a lot of people kind of looking at her skeptically that is the case. And again, like over these house beats, over these dance grooves, I think she's finding her voice and just sounding amazing in the process. MPH is the name of this new track, and it's just as much of a banger as Dorigo, that other recent single that she put out, which I absolutely love. And finally, Bickle has a brand new EP out, and one track from it that is most definitely worth checking out and is fun and silly and dancey and creative is Don't Look at the DJ. So make sure to check that one out too. And guys, that is going to be it. Weekly tracks have been rounded up. You're the best. Love you. I will see you in the next video. Anthony Fantano, Weekly Tracks Forever.